Okay, so we've just read chapter 4 of our story that we've been really enjoying. Can you sum up, please, what's happened in that story? What's happened? What are the key events?
What happened so far is that Pinocchio went to like a show when he was supposed to go to school. Then he met a blind cat, a supposedly blind cat, and a lame fox. Then they all went through Simple Simon.
Can we have a look at the bottom of page 76 then, please? The lame fox and the blind cat start saying, "Oh, we're quite honest. Oh, we have to be honest. We're very honest." Do you agree with that?
No.
No. Could you change the word to describe what they actually are like? How could you change that word?
You could add the prefix dis to turn it to dishonest.
Oh, okay. So what does that do to that word?
It makes it the opposite of honest. So they're not being honest, and they're like getting into his head.
Okay, so we've got our two characters. We've got blind fox and lame cat. What do you think about them? What are they like? Give me your opinions.
I think the blind fox and lame cat are a bit sly, like the witch from The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, because they're quite good to find the correct boy to trick, like the witch. She found the correct person to trick, and by doing that, she made sure that she gave him Turkish delights and everything.
Oh, that was really interesting. Have we got anybody else it reminds them of, or any opinions of them? Go on, Miss Maya.
From The Magician's Nephew, it reminds me of Mr. Cassidy because he tricked Polly into touching the green ring, the yellow ring.
Oh, I see. So they're all about tricking, aren't they? Okay, so on the bottom of page 82 then, we've got Pinocchio doing a little speech where he's talking to us, and he starts saying, "Don't be a wooden head again." What does he mean by that? Why is that such a good word for Michael Morpurgo to use? Go on, Samaya, why?
Because it's describing how thick he is and how stupid he is just to fall for that again.
Okay, is there another reason why wooden head is such a good word to use? Go on then.
Because Pinocchio is made out of wood and he's calling himself a wooden
Oh,
head.
so it's got two meanings. That's a really good example. Well,
I did enjoy it, and mainly because, when he's like talking to us, he gets to read it and like really involved and makes it laugh, and they like ask us rhetorical questions.
oh, fantastic. What is a rhetorical question?
Rhetorical question is when like someone asks you a question, but it's not a question for you to
I think
answer.
the story is problematic. It's a bit like Dorcas's review because when you think a problem's going to end, it just goes into another problem. And I would recommend this to anyone who likes fiction. Tom stood rigid as Vipro turned to fix him with a hypnotic gaze. He couldn't believe what had just happened and wanted to desperately run to Eleanor. But that was impossible while Vipro stood in the way. "Come on then, Snake Man," he shouted, the golden chainmail giving him extra strength of heart. "Are you brave enough to face my sword?" Vipro's two heads bobbed back and forth. Tom couldn't tell when they were going to strike. If he tried to concentrate on one of them, the other would start forward, fangs bared. He slashed with his sword, but the heads swayed back out of range, and Vipro still blocked the way to the glittering leg armour and Eleanor.
Chapter 14, Mr. Willy Wonka. Mr. Wonka was standing all alone just inside the open gates of the factory. And what an extraordinary little man he was. He had a black top hat on his head. He wore a tailcoat made of beautiful plum-coloured velvet. His trousers were bottle green. His gloves were pearly grey. And in one hand he carried a fine gold-topped walking cane. Covering his chin there was a small, neat, pointed black beard, a goatee, and his eyes were the most marvellously bright. They seemed to be sparkling and twinkling at you all the time. The whole face, in fact, was alight with fun and laughter. And how clever he looked, how quick and sharp and full of life. He kept making quick, jerky little movements with his head, cocking it this way and that, and taking everything in with his nose.
Reporting for duty. Officer Tall, reporting for duty, sir. Very good, Tall. Stand at ease. Now listen here. This is your first mission, and it's not an easy one, I'm afraid.
We need you to take your men across to Hill 67 and capture it from the Germans. I've been very impressed with what I've heard about you. Your king and country are relying on you. Don't let them down. That's all. Thank you, General.